If you're part of the online publishing world, then like me, you're probably always looking for better and faster ways to make reliable streams of income using platforms like Amazon KDP, Barnes & Noble and other digital outlets such as Etsy. Well, here I have an app that you can use to tap into the ocean of KDP profits by creating high quality how to draw books at scale. In this video, I'll discuss how indie publishers are making really decent income from the KDP platform and how you could use it in the same way. Now, if you've not been here before, my name's Jane Willingale of Silver Zone Printables, and I create videos for this channel based on low content publishing and printables for Etsy or similar platforms, and tips for using the Affinity Suite and other apps to achieve just that. If you think that kind of thing interests you, then click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos like this. And if you found this video helpful, then please do click on the like button, which will help this video get seen and help me grow this channel. It's much appreciated. So the KDP platform is a sustainable business model created by one of the biggest e-commerce companies there is. However, it's not as simple as loosely tying together a bunch of pages and expecting to make sales. Today, the focus is on quality and variety. Enter Niranjan and his team, who've been producing apps to help indie publishers do just that for years by creating the kind that help you tap into niches that you wouldn't have ventured into otherwise. But what are how to draw books, and do they actually sell? You bet your life they do. Take a look at some of these currently selling on Amazon. So if I click into Amazon and do a search under all for how to draw books for children, I get results of around 3,000, and you might think that's a bit too low, but in actual fact that's just perfect. It's not too high, and it means that the niche is not oversaturated, which is great. If I click into one or two of these books, such as this one, and scroll down to where I can see the BSR number, which is down in the product details, and it's here, bestsellers rank 6,757, perfect, which means they're making quite a few good sales. It's also giving you a few ideas of the sections to put the books in when you publish them and the kind of keywords you should be looking for the niche. And if you click through, you can see some of the interiors for this particular one, which gives you an idea of what these kind of books produce. Basically, they're breaking down each of the images into sections because the idea is for a child to follow these drawings across a grid and learn to draw each bit. And if we look at another one, which is making really decent money at that kind of price for the spiral bound, click into it, you can see the paperback is cheaper. And if we have a look at the extra images, you can get a better idea of how these are broken down. Now, this is the kind of breakdown you'll get with Niranjan's app. And this particular one has an even better BSR of 830, and number 3 in children's cartooning books. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? So let's take a look at the sales page for How to Draw Books Generator, which is up for sale now. And just check out one or two of the features which are listed on the sales page. It's covered in a fair bit of detail here, but I have also learnt today that there are some special features coming out with this, which I know are not on any of the sales pages, and they're not part of the one-time offers. They are introducing some extra procedures that you can use, whereby if you've picked up images that are not proper PNGs, proper vector-based images, they don't always work how they should do within this app. So they have created a whole section of it that will take the original PNGs, or even a JPEG if it was created as a line drawing, and break it down how it should be based on how this program works. And rather than try and explain it to you badly, because I know I will, I'm going to hand you over to a video that Niranjan's given me, which will explain it much better.
Hey, so there have been a few questions about how to draw books generate a premium version step-by-step drawing tutorial creation. And one of the common questions that has been coming along is there's a need for layered files that the app would work with. Yes, that's the absolute best practice, and that's something that users should strive for. Now, the question comes, what happens if we do not have a layered file, right? Is there a way for us to create layers right inside of the application? What if the file is not appropriate? It's not a good quality file. What is it that can be done? Is the app capable of that? So what I'm going to showcase you here is some of the features that we are actually working on right now, but this is not available to the users for the next 90 days. That's 3 months. So we have a roadmap for the release of these features, and we'll be following that roadmap. And since we do not have it right now, we did not want to have any false expectation set on the sales page, right? Because we are responsible marketers, we are responsible software developers, and we just want to make sure that we deliver. Customer delight is the motto that we would like to focus on, right? We would love to under promise and over deliver. So what I'm going to do here is, since there has been a lot of discussion about how these kind of files are handled, what I'm going to do is take one file that is actually not a very consistent SVG file. It's something that's pretty inconsistent, and I'm going to show you how the advanced features that you currently don't have access to will be used to deal with them. Okay, so let's go ahead and upload the file here. What I'll do is I'll pick one of the examples here to stay consistent with some of the other content that I've created. So if you go here, you see that this is a bear which is available, and this is downloaded from a certain stock site. I'm not really aware, because we have been getting a lot of SVG files from a lot of our customers, our beta testers, and our community in general. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just see if this file is good. So how do I know if this file is correct or wrong? What is it that is wrong about it? What is it that is correct about it? So what I do is I click on validate. The moment I click on validate, you would see that this means non-vector origin. What is meant by non-vector origin? This is basically a SVG file which is not created up to the standards. So what has happened is it would have been a PNG file which has been converted into an SVG using probably an online converter, and as a result of that, there are inconsistencies in the file. It's not a true SVG. It's not something that meets the standards that are required for it to be used in the application, right? So this is what we have now. Based on the sales pages, based on the current situation, this is not available. So these are the kind of images, those are not usable here, because this doesn't have even the layers data. So what we'll do is we'll upload it, clone it. Let me clone it a couple of times just in case we need more. And now what we'll do is we'll take a look at this particular image. Now look at this. What is happening here is this entire thing is selected in one go. Ideally, it should have been the head should have been, if we think about it logically, the head should have been one step, the ears should have been another step, the body should have been another step, and so on, right? Now, if we for a moment assume that the artist actually created it this way, imagine this: the artist is actually going through the pain of separating the eyelids, separating these items, these dots. How is it possible that the artist would ignore something like this, right? That's not possible. So the only way this has happened is where this conversion from PNG to SVG has gone through a non-standard process, and as a result of that, the quality of the SVG file has deteriorated because the app has not been able to figure out where to cut it, right? So what is our goal? Our goal is to make this file work. Now let me show you, because this is the file that we imported. Let me show you how it malfunctions with the applications, all right? So let's say we add a layer after layer number 1. So layer number 2 is vacant, layer number 1 is this. Let's say I want to move this, right, this particular thing to layer number 2, correct? So I just click on add selected. Instead of adding it to this layer, it's deleting it completely. Do you know why? Because the SVG file has been wired incorrectly. The backend of the SVG file is not appropriate. It's not correct. And that is the reason why these kind of problems are happening. So what is the alternate solution? The alternate solution is to import this SVG file to a vector editor. which is Illustrator or Affinity or any such Inkscape for that matter, you go ahead and edit it over there, organize the layers, and then come back, right? That's what ideally would work. But what we have done is we have come up with solutions which are way more sophisticated, and they take this thing to the next level where you don't have to work with Illustrator to make this happen, right? You saw how this was not adding to the new layer. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of explaining all of this because we'll be covering all of this in a lot of training sessions that we'll be doing. So for now, I'll just click on this button which says blow out layers, and I'll go back to layers and I'll add a new layer, say layer before or layer after, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's say I have got a layer after, right? So now if I go ahead and add this to this one, layer 2 here, right, add selected, you would see that this is now added here, right? So the inconsistency that was there, which would have taken you or the user quite a bit of time in Illustrator, was completed in just one click right here inside of the application, and you did not even have to open anything like Illustrator or Affinity, right? That is super important, and that is something that we are talking about. Okay, so now what we'll do is we have got layer number 1, layer number 2. Now let us let us follow a very good approach here. So what we'll do is we'll just hide this. So now we've got this in layer 1, right? So this is what we have in layer number 1. I think this is not a smart idea. So what we'll do is we'll actually create one layer before, and we will move this to layer number 1. The reason I want to do this is because what will happen is we will now this particular part, the part that has these details, we can fill it later, right? So I'm thinking about organizing it in a certain manner. My first step, I want this to be a circle. Second step, the ears. Third step, the body. Fourth step, these circles. Fifth step, the eyes and all that stuff, right? That's how I'm envisioning this particular image to be created, right? So now I can see that I have been able to create two layers here, right? So next thing that I would like to do is hide this, because it will be easier for me to work with this. Now, you might be thinking this is a straight line, a very simple line. It's not, because it's constructed in a manner that is not appropriate. All right, this is constructed in a manner that is not appropriate, or it's not a proper SVG. And the path that you see here, or the border that you see here, is not a very simple structure or drawing that you see. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll basically go ahead and click on an option called let's select this and click on this. Now let me show you this. Here you can see that there is a fill and then there is a path. This is exactly what was there inside of that particular that particular image. And this is not the only thing. There's a lot many layers inside of it, which is what was contributing to the complexity of the image, even though when we visually see it, we don't feel what's going on here. But as you can see, it's this image which has been created in this fashion. So all of these fills is something that we will now delete in one go, right? So all I'll do is remove fill for selected, right? So what I did is I removed the selected fills, right? And this is a step which would have taken you quite a bit of time when you did it in Illustrator, right? So what we'll do now is we would come to this option here, change stroke color, right? So this is still being worked on, right? So please bear that in mind. This is still being worked on. So now if you see here, this is what we have, right? So let me go ahead and right, so do deselect elements. So now take a look at this, right? What we thought was a solid line is actually not a solid line. It's a very complex thing which has got two lines, and in between them it has got some space where a color is filled, right? That's a very complex brush stroke that is available, that has been used. All right, so that is what causes the problem. Can you imagine this is what was there underneath the image that was looking so simple? And this is why SVGs can be deceiving. Fortunately for you, we have been working on solutions, and we have got some serious solutions in place which will remove the need for for using external tools in the as we move forward. So this was a file that was not workable at all, and what we have done now is we have turned it into something that we are comfortable with. Now let's go back to the layers and let's take a look at this. Okay, so this is something that we don't want to deal with right now, so we'll just switch it off. Right, so what I want to do is probably figure out a way so that I can segregate all of these, right? So what we would do is add a layer before, so that I can move let's say, let's do one thing. Let's see what is selected. Okay, so if I remove this, I still have the other components which give me the shape of a bear. So I'll just remove it to here and add selected. And now that it is selected over there, what I do is I just go ahead and force delete that particular layer. So all of a sudden I have deleted that extra layer. All right, and this gives me a pretty cool effect to use. So now again, I'll start a layer before, and this in layer number 1, I would just add this circle, add selected, right? So that would be layer number 1. In the next layer, I'll just create a layer after, and in this layer, what I'll do is I'll add these ears, right? So now this is what I have here. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll create a layer after this, and in that one, what I do is I would like to have probably the eye, so that I can get an effect, I can get a feel for what's going on, and I'll just add that to add selected here, right? So that's layer number 3. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, right? Now what we'll do is we'll go to 4, and in 4 I think I'm happy to have the body of the bear, and in 5 I'm happy to have the rest of the thing. So this is how I have been able to convert something that was not workable at all to a beautiful step-by-step tutorial. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll go to a template where we'll look for maybe 6 images. Like I'll go with 9 here, so that we have some extra blocks just in case. We can always delete them, and I'll show you 2 varieties of tutorials that we will create, one with just the dark strokes and then one with dark and gray strokes. All right, so this one has 5 layers in here. I'll click on that, apply, and you can see that we have all the steps. So we can delete this, we can delete this, we can delete this, we can delete this, and all of this stuff can be deleted here, right? All of this stuff can be deleted. And what we'll click on this, click on this gear icon, click on this lock, expand this so that it looks a little bigger, then unlock it, remove this and adjust this a bit, and you've got a beautifully laid out tutorial right in front of you. Okay, and if you want to repeat the same process with the grayscale, it's pretty simple and straightforward. Click on step-by-step layers, click on this, and then apply grayscale, and then click on apply. So what happens is we now have grayscale here. So what we do is repeat the same process, lock them, increase the size so that everything gets increased, and then unlock it, remove it, and move things around a bit so that they fall in place and they look beautiful, right? So this is how we would go about creating these tutorials, and we can delete the rest of them like so, like so, like so. So this is what we have, and this is these are some of the very powerful tools that we have in place. There's something else that I'd like to show you, and that is the ability, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Because we have the ability to cut through various elements. For example, I can actually, you see this as one element, right? Now we have the flexibility built in within the tool, which will allow you to actually split this curve and select parts of it, right? So that's what we can do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that. So what we'll do is go to settings, and we'll click on this. We will click on something called break path simple. And now this looks pretty similar to what it was there earlier, but let me show you this. Okay, let me show you what is happening. If I go here, I can click on this. I can identify this. Now I can delete it. I can remove it. All right. So let us do one thing. Let us just deselect the elements, and now let's click this. All right. Let's click this. So do you see what's happening? Now imagine we want to have this particular part right here to be deleted. Okay. So what we'll do is let's deselect the elements, everything, right? So we just go here. I'll just expand it so you can see what's going on, right? So what we have got is we have highlighted this, and now we will just go ahead here and delete selected elements. Do you see this? Right? Now let's do that. Let's do the same thing here and delete selected elements, right? So you can see these are certain things that we have built into the app. There will be a lot more sophistication. We'll have some kind of a tech that makes a sense of all of these. And the one that you're seeing here, we never showed this in the sales page. We never spoke about it in the sales page. Before today, this has never been released to any of our affiliate partners or the beta group or even our own team, right? So the only 2 people who knew about all these features were the founders of this application, right? And that is how powerful the application is. And this is something that we are working on for you to make this one of the best tools that you'll ever get to work with to create your how to draw tutorials. The moment you are able to break individual elements, you are not dependent on an image not working or not being in a certain shape, right? You can always break this and move them to different layers. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for taking time out to watch this video. Yeah, thank you.
So I hope that gave you a better idea of what the app is about, or at very least the special features and how they can be used to help save time creating images for the How to Draw books. Am I biased? Well, a little bit, I suppose. I've been using their apps for some time now, and I've always been pleased with the quality, the support, and the methods they use. Are their apps real time savers? If you know what you're doing with the professional programs such as Illustrator and Designer, then the base images would not be a problem for you to design and draw. But that assumes you have some artistic skill in the first place, and let's face it, the majority of us don't. I certainly don't. And if I was to add up the hours that it would take me to try and draw half of these images, as well as put them out in the grid formation that the app uses, it would cost me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And it's much cheaper, I consider, to buy something like this that does the majority of the hard work for me than it is to spend all that time and stress myself trying to create images as perfectly as the app can. For me, it is all about the time saved. With this app and others from the team, I can take images that I find in the public domain or buy from the likes of Creative Fabrica and other sources and import them into these apps and produce books of high quality. You don't just produce images here, you produce the whole book, so you're getting a whole lot of value. These apps such as the Instant Puzzle Generator, Word Puzzles Generator, Instant Maze Generator, Hand-Drawn Mazes, Math Worksheets Generator and the Time Worksheets Generator have all been very popular, and I'll leave links for all of them down below if you're interested. They're now being used by thousands of customers on a daily basis to create and profit from books. They've allowed the average home publisher to take the competition directly to the doors of the big educational content publishers for the first time ever. How to Draw books are the introduction to the world of drawing and illustrating for children. Typically they consist of an illustration and a grid combination, which a child is supposed to draw on a blank grid accompanying every tutorial. The idea is to have them focus on one little square at a time and just draw the part of the whole image within that grid, and then repeat the process to complete the entire drawing. It's simple, but it's not easy, and neither is it quick if you don't know how to draw. Creating and profiting from How to Draw books on KDP can be a lucrative business opportunity, but it does require a focus on quality and variety. So with the help of this particular software app, I believe you can tap into this market quite easily and take any KD business that you've either started or planning to start to whole new heights. So I'll leave the links for the software below for you to check out. It is on launch at the time of recording this video, but that won't be for long because their launches only last usually 3 to 4 days. And if nothing else, it may have given you an idea for a different niche to try your hand at. I've been Jane Willingale at Silverzone Printables. Thanks for watching. Till the next time.